Wrestling fans of the internet, welcome back to another episode of Linwood Wrestling Legends. As always, I am your faithful host and commentator, John Adams, and if you love wrestling as much as we do here at LWL, then you've got to hop on that MainLine. As always, we are coming to you live and direct from an abandoned warehouse somewhere in Linwood, and folks, we have got an absolute ripper of a show for you tonight. It's been a long time since we've had a triple threat match, but we've got one tonight and it promises to be a doozy. So without any further ado, let's get this train a-rolling and let's go check out some wrestling. Folks, we've got 5 weeks until the Chico Hernandez Memorial Rumble in Medellin, Colombia. But right now, we got a show to do in Linwood, so let's get to it. After his loss to Yuri Kalishnikov a few weeks back, the Professor Jerome Scott is back in the saddle, and tonight he is taking on Linwood Knight. The hard-boozing hardcore legend is rude, lick it up, and looking to scrap. And folks, if you hear a chainsaw at any point during this match, that's because somebody outside this abandoned warehouse is doing some yard work. It's kind of rude if you ask me, but this is Linwood and we roll with the punches. So let's roll on down to ringside now and see how this match shakes out. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Linwood Christchurch here in Aotearoa, he is the hard-boozing hardcore legend, Linwood Knight. Folks, this man truly is the cockroach of professional wrestling. I've seen him take bumps that would kill or stun the average mule, yet week after week he keeps coming back for more. Actually, to tell the truth, that's not really fair. A cockroach might do a lot of gross things, but there are some things that would never occur to a cockroach to do. Well, Linwood Knight does all those things. All of them. Use your imagination, people. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff I can't mention with this being good, clean family entertainment, but there is very little you could tell me about this man that would shock me anymore. It's not even one of those situations like the proverbial frog in a pot of boiling water. As soon as I got this job, my boss, General Manager Todd Sorensen, said, "This is Linwood Knight. He works cheap and he puts bums on seats." This is a comprehensive list of the things he's been charged with and arrested for, but we can't book him until next week because that's when they remove his ankle bracelet. And oh, what a journey I have been on with this man. This is why I'm ashamed to tell people that I'm from Linwood. Every time I do, people are all like, "Oh wow, do you know Linwood Knight? I've seen hundreds of videos of him being arrested. Man, that guy must be a real hoot." If only you knew, people. If only you knew how this particular sausage was made. Ever since I've taken this job as a color commentator at Linwood Wrestling Legends, it's also become my job to pay off witnesses, lie to Linwood Knight's parole officer, and clean up his projectile vomit. Believe me, I've taken on a lot of thankless jobs since I've come here, but if that's what I gotta do to get him in the ring week after week, the show must go on. A lot of wrestling promotions just straight up stopped booking Jake the Snake Roberts when he was at his worst, but apparently Linwood Wrestling Legends is truly a barrel with no bottom to it. Every time I think I've seen the bottom of the barrel, it's always turned out just to be an optical illusion. With Linwood Knight's extensive criminal record, we are going to have a devil of a time trying to get him overseas to that big PLE in Colombia 5 weeks from now. But you know what? That's General Manager Todd Sorensen's problem. And his opponent, from Cleveland, Ohio in the United States, the Professor, Jerome Scott. We haven't seen much of the Professor since he lost to Yuri Kalishnikov a few weeks ago, but man, it's great to have him back. This guy is the best technical wrestler we've got, and he is like our very own Bret the Hitman Hart. And as somebody who thinks Bret the Hitman Hart is the greatest professional wrestler of all time, that's about the highest compliment I can give someone. Maybe that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I am a man with many unpopular opinions. A lot of people would say Ric Flair was the greatest professional wrestler of all time, but all I saw of Ric Flair was a leathery old man in a sequined gown yelling, "Woo!" Maybe it's one of those things where I just had to be there back in the day, but I never got what all the hoopla was about. Referee Tom Herb rings the bell and Linwood Knight comes clapping in with chops a la Ric Flair. But the professor is not having any of that and he puts him down with a discus clothesline. And I swear to God, if Linwood Knight starts yelling, "Woo!" then you can just find somebody else to do this job, because I've had enough. But I can very easily imagine Linwood Knight throwing chops, yelling, "Woo!" and being inebriated enough to think that he was the first guy to do it. The professor bouncing Linwood Knight again and again off the turnbuckle. And we got a sweet suplex off the rebound. The professor's looking good early on and carving himself out a nice early lead. Let's see if he can keep up the momentum. Ooh, knee to the face. And you there in the crowd with the giant foam finger, you better have purchased that at our merch stand. Linwood Knight clapping back with a knee to the gut and a series of strikes. Oh, look at that, playing possum. Nobody plays possum like Linwood Knight. If he looks like he's down and out, it's because he wants you to think that. Underestimate him at your peril. Linwood Knight daring his opponent to get up and meet him at the ropes. Booyah! Slingshot dropkick. And can he get the pin? Oh, kick out before the one. I guarantee you we have not seen the last of Linwood Knight's dirty little tricks. And we got a lovely fireman's carry from the professor. We got an artful evasion and the professor is firing back. And there's a picture-perfect DDT. I couldn't have done that one better myself, and that's true because I have never wrestled. Linwood Knight's got him in the torture rack and he is already bleeding. Burning hammer! And I have just been informed by one of Todd's minions that we have a very special guest in the building here tonight. I have no idea who that might be, but I can tell you it's probably not Jason Momoa. Although Jason Momoa is more than welcome to visit us anytime he wants. And now it's the professor's turn to get bounced and suplexed off the turnbuckle. And out of the ring he goes onto the cardboard. Linwood Knight is going topside. And there's a double stomp to the gut from the second story. And on the subject of Jason Momoa, we are not having any luck trying to convince celebrities to come and sit ringside. Spiked against the apron, and that looked mighty uncomfortable. Good gravy! What the hell was that? I have never seen Linwood Knight do that before, so let's take another look. Linwood Knight priming his opponent with a very uncomfortable spike against the apron. Next, he flips him like a pancake and hits the backdrop suplex. It's always nice to see this mangy old dog bust out some new tricks. So anyway, if any of you people out there know any celebrities, maybe have a quiet word with them about coming to sit ringside. We can't guarantee their safety, but we can absolutely guarantee a good time. Oh God, is he still trying to rip off LA Knight? It gets a little more embarrassing and desperate every time I see it. Linwood Knight is seeing spiders everywhere, and with the amount of substances he's on, I'd be surprised if he wasn't. Crossbody from the professor nails his opponent flat. We've all seen Linwood Knight come back from worse beatings than this, so the professor still has a long road to hoe. But he's trapped the arm, and can he make the crossface work? Linwood Knight powering out with a snapmare. He's not letting his gaping head wound slow him down one bit, but he's probably too inebriated to feel any pain, and look at that sweet reversal from the professor. Into the ropes he goes, and we got a sloppy-ass collision. Oh my God! We've got another slobber knocker on our hands, and this is exactly what the people of Linwood came to see. Linwood Knight goes barreling out of the ring. What the hell? Seriously, Linwood Knight? You're just gonna walk out of the match like that? Oh, for God's sakes. Oh, things just got spicy. Nero is not putting up with any of Linwood Knight's cowardice, and the professor sends him back in the ring. We got an abandoned warehouse full of people that came to see a wrestling show, so thank you, Nero, for saving the match. After unsuccessfully trying to chicken out, Linwood Knight is gonna have to dig deep, and there goes a rocket dropper. Oh, for God's sakes, not this again. Now I'm thinking we should have just let him go home. This match has put Jerome Scott in an unenviable position, but he is determined to make the most of it. And look at that, can he get the sleeper hold? Linwood Knight is starting to turn pale, but that could just be from blood loss, and boom goes the stunner to break the hold. Linwood Knight comes from a hardcore wrestling background, so all this blood loss is just another day at the office. And into the ropes he goes, and another sloppy collision. We got the roll up, but can he get the pin? 1, 2, kick out after the 2. But seriously guys, if we can't stop with the sloppy collisions, I am gonna scream. Because that's how a real man screams, and I'm as manly as they come. Can he get the pin off the DDT? 1, 2. Oh, getting closer and closer. Back in the day, DDT was the name of a bug spray. The Professor's gonna need a hell of a lot more to take down the cockroach of professional wrestling. Linwood Knight starting to look a little woozy, and he is firing back with a big boot. And another one of those, for God's sakes. But I gotta admit, I am very curious about who our special guest may be. It's probably just Linwood Knight's parole officer again. I'm so sick of that guy. If he's come to take a sample tonight, that thing's coming back radioactive. Linwood Knight bringing the cheap heat and taking the boots to the Professor. If this is just going to come down to a matter of endurance, I hate to say it, but the Professor is at a disadvantage. And back into the corner he goes, but he is countering back. We got another picture-perfect DDT, and pay attention all you young wrestlers. That's how it should be done. Oh, misses with the elbow drop. Linwood Knight is one slippery customer. He is done playing possum, and he is turning into a whole other animal. Possibly a large predatory rodent of some kind. The Professor is getting a 3-course meal served of nothing but turnbuckle. And into the ring post he goes, shoulder first. We got a bit of a back and forth going on here with the wrestlers flinging each other into the corner. It's a lot harder to mount an offense when you're trapped in a small deadly space, so let's see who prevails. Linwood Knight is looking woozy again. Professor gets the headlock and boom goes the suplex. Can he get the pin? 1, 2. Oh, so close, but no cigar. We're starting to see a lot of wariness from both wrestlers. This is going to be a matter of who can push through. Linwood Knight looking for safety in the corner, but there is no safety in the corner. Just an alley-oop into a sit-out spinebuster. The melee continues, and Linwood Knight is going for one of his signature moves. Boom! There it goes. That was one of his signatures, the Bro Buster. Let's go take another look at that. The hard-boozing hardcore legend is reaching deep into his bag of tricks tonight. Truly a move as ugly and uncoordinated as he is. Can he get the pin? 1, 2. Oh my God, so close. Both of these wrestlers are hanging on for dear life. This is going to come down to which one of them has the tighter grip. The Professor crawling to the safety of the corner, and Linwood Knight knows better than to interrupt his opponent while he's making a mistake. And what a costly mistake this one could be. He's setting up for something big, and boom goes the DDT off the bottom rope. Because we only give replays to avalanches from the middle rope upwards, that one's not going to get a replay, but it was still pretty cool. Linwood Knight unloading with everything he's got, and boom goes the scoop slam. Oh, what are we seeing here? Linwood Knight's about to go airborne, and good gravy, diving headbutt. Let's see that again. You'll know my feelings on diving headbutts by now. But with the amount of brain damage Linwood Knight's already got, it might actually do him some good. But can he get the pin? 1, 2. Oh, so close. This match is absolutely going the distance. Although where it's going to end up is still anybody's guess. Professor running in, and he nails him with the clothesline. And I'll bet anything that this special guest we have tonight is somebody really boring. Like maybe a city councillor you've never heard of. I don't think there's a mayor of Linwood, but if nobody else is claiming it, I call dibs. If I can put Mayor of Linwood on my CV, hopefully I can get a better gig than this someday. And he's going for the rear naked choke. Can he make Linwood Knight tap? Linwood Knight powering out. We got a volley of elbow shots to the Professor's ribcage, and Linwood Knight manages to power out. Between the concussion and the inebriation, Linwood Knight is probably seeing triple right now. Boom goes the fireman's carry sidewalk slam. Professor rolling out of the ring onto the cardboard. Linwood Knight looking to go airborne again, and nobody home this time. The fans in the cheap seats have got to be loving this, and will somebody please tell that kid with a mullet to get a haircut? If you're a parent who lets their kid walk around with a mullet, that's child abuse and you should be reported. Russian leg sweep into the barricade. Professor scaling the barricade, and what has he got planned? We got a wee bit of a tightrope walk, and he is just waiting for Linwood Knight to get back on his feet. Here comes Linwood Knight, and boom goes the falling axe handle. This one better go back in the ring. Nobody wants to count out, and referee Tom Herb really struggles when he's got to count those big boy numbers. Professor slipping outside the ring and resetting the count just in the nick of time. And mercifully, we are going back in the ring. Beautiful slingshot frog splash from the Professor. Linwood Knight has really made his opponent go the distance tonight, but how much further can either of these two competitors go? The Professor is just beating Linwood Knight like he stole something, and knowing what I know about Linwood Knight, he probably did. We're seeing a lot of blood from both wrestlers, so they'll be anxious to finish this one up. Oh my god, no! Wet Willie! Linwood Knight was not done playing possum, and he is playing the long game. Good gravy, another diving headbutt. Can he get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Linwood Knight takes the win. Let's go to Ernie the cameraman with some ringside highlights. As much as I love Jerome Scott, this is a match he might think about leaving off his resume. That's not due to any failure on his part, but if he had pressed that early advantage a little harder, maybe this match could have turned out differently. Once we got into the weeds of this match, it became a real battle of endurance. Once that became the case, there is not a creature on God's green earth that can outlast or outdrink Linwood Knight. We also saw a lot of possum being played, and nobody plays possum like Linwood Knight. He looked like he was about to chicken out of the match at one point, but for all we know, that's probably just what he wanted us to think. I've got no idea in the world how a diving headbutt onto your opponent's kneecap is supposed to hurt him more than you, but that's the magic of professional wrestling. Suspend your disbelief at the door. I have also been informed by one of Todd's minions that we are going to see our special guest very soon. We still don't know who it is or what they want, but I can only hope it's somebody from a better wrestling promotion come to take me away from all this. But then again, when have I ever been that lucky, folks? Congratulations to our hard-boozing hardcore legend, Linwood Knight, for this victory. The tall boys of Woodstock Bourbon and Coke will surely be flowing freely tonight, and hopefully this means I don't have to deal with his nonsense for another week. So let's just leave the sexiest man in the room to his victory and find out who the special mystery guest is. Good gravy! It's legendary wrestler Yo-Yo Brown. There was me thinking he's been dead for 30 years. That's what it says on his Wikipedia page. You better not be after my job, Yo-Yo. That's all I'm saying about that. I hate to burst your bubble, Yo-Yo, but I guarantee none of these people know who you are. And we are talking about ourselves in third person. That's going to get real old real quick. Seriously? How delusional is this guy? Wait a minute, Yo-Yo. How many days do you think are in a year? Oh, we should call the retirement home. Somebody's probably missing this guy. Finally, somebody get Yo-Yo Brown the help he needs. Damn straight, Todd. A lot has changed since the last time Yo-Yo Brown was in the ring. And I don't just mean wrestling, I mean geopolitics, society, and technology. 30 years! That is a hell of a lot of ring rust. Todd Sorensen, don't ever change, big guy. I'm not even gonna try doing the math on that one. Seriously, Todd? That is a terrible idea. So there you have it, folks. Stay tuned to see a disgraced former stage magician beating up an old man. Only on Linwood Wrestling Legends. What did I tell you, folks? Just when you think you've seen the bottom of the barrel. Alright, party people. Who's ready for a tag extravaganza? I, for one, am always ready for a tag extravaganza. But I thought it'd be polite just to check and make sure that you were too. After having one of the shortest championship reigns of only a week, and then losing it to Las Gardas Calajeras, the Coven are desperate for another shot at those titles. If they want to get another shot at glory, they're going to have to do it the hard way, starting back at the bottom and working their way up. But that's not going to happen if Las Sicarias have anything to say about it. After their last victory against Brandy Bella, Las Sicarias have their eyes on the prize too. Unfortunately, there can be only one winner, so let's go find out who that's going to be. The following tag team match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Salem, Massachusetts in the United States, Xenia, Shawnee, and Helena are the Coven. They are vicious, delicious, and a little superstitious. And now they're looking extremely snazzy thanks to those little redesigns and touch-ups to their costumes. I am really liking that new triangle snowflake logo. That is super cool. Whoever designed those new costumes must be very, very talented. But then again, I heard he also designed Linwood Knights costumes, so your mileage may vary. As always, Xenia and Shawnee will be hitting the ring tonight with Helena acting as manager. As it so happens, Helena will be having her first proper singles match tonight, and you can see that later. Well, actually, you can see it anytime you like because it's probably on the internet now, but wouldn't you rather watch this match first? Of course you would. Obviously, I'm not telling you to stop watching this match and go watch Helena's match. I'm just telling you that if you wanted to, you could, because you've got options. And you should consider yourself lucky because that's something I never had as a kid. It was either eat this broccoli or go to bed without watching The Simpsons. You kids today don't know how good you've got it. If I'd have had that kind of technology when I was a little nipper, I would have just told my parents I don't want any damn vegetables, and then gone to my room and watched The Simpsons on my phone. And this has been another episode of Old Man Yells at Cloud. And trust me, that's something that will happen to you as you get older, kids. And their opponents, now representing Sector Del Muerte, and accompanied by their new manager, Alonso Constanzo. From Medellin, Colombia, Veronica Mendoza and Mercedes Cortez are Las Sicarias. You have got to be sugaring me. I did not see this one coming, and this is very bad news for the women's tag division. Alonso Constanzo might not be a wrestler anymore, but he is wasting no time brainwashing new disciples. The people of Linwood have never taken to Las Sicarias, and they are not going to like him now. There are two things we hate in Linwood: police brutality, people who can't count, and Sector Del Muerte. If Las Sicarias think this is the way to win over this Linwood crowd, They are very much mistaken. One can only wonder what kind of promises El Padrino made to Veronica Mendoza and Mercedes Cortez. Referee Tom Herb rings the bell and Shawnee is not wasting any time. We got a counter into a hip throw from Mercedes and a diving senton. The best laid plans of the Coven have just gone right out the window and that's just brutal. Las Sicarias don't care who they have to hurt to get what they want. Shawnee gets whipped off into the ropes and we got the belly to belly from Mercedes. Wave to the crowd all you want, but this crowd does not like you, Mercedes Cortez. Mercedes going topside as Shawnee gets back up to her feet. And the aerial assault is denied. If either of these two wrestlers has their way, this one's going to turn into a slobber knocker. And it looks like we're well on the way already. Step up into Gary, lays out Shawnee. Mercedes Cortez doing her damnedest to carve out an early lead in this match. And is she even going to leave anything for her teammate Veronica to pick over? Now it's Mercedes' turn to get whipped into the ropes, and for God's sakes, what have I told you people about those collisions? If this keeps happening, I swear to God, I will turn this car around and nobody will be going to Colombia. You want to call my bluff? I double dare you. And speaking of Colombia, the hometown is probably the one place where Las Sicarias can get a good pop, because it certainly ain't happening here in Linwood. That said, for all we know, they may have burned a lot of bridges in Medellin. The crowd, for God's sakes. Drop-kicking Xenia off the apron was neither fair nor sporting. What are you going to do about it, referee Tom Herb? And we got the tag. Into the ropes, Shawnee goes, and we are going up and over like a four-leaf clover. And a couple of kicks in stereo just to finish it off. At the risk of psychoanalyzing, I always thought Mercedes was the dominant one in this partnership. I just really hope Veronica can come to her senses with all this Sector del Muerte crap. Stunner against the ropes and down goes Shawnee. Oh, look at that! Body splash off the slingshot. Whatever Las Sicarias are putting down, this Linwood crowd is not picking up. And that's kind of sad because you get the feeling all they wanted was to be liked. We got a sweet frog splash off the slingshot. And that's how cults like Sector del Muerte prey on vulnerable people. So in a way, people of Linwood, this is kinda your fault. If you'd have just given Las Sicarias the love and appreciation they wanted, they would have gone looking for it in other places, and there goes Xenia with the sweep. Can't you get the pin? Oh, kick out before the one. Veronica Mendoza stalking her opponent like a predatory feline. And this kitty cat's got claws and she ain't afraid to use them. Las Sicarias came out here tonight looking to prove something, and the Coven are really struggling to answer back. Veronica Mendoza is not afraid to get her hands a little bloody, and into the corner goes Xenia. We got the tag to Mercedes, and here comes some teamwork. And oh Jiminy Jillikers, is this move ever brutal. Pinata kick! Let's see that again. If you look really closely, you can even see candy falling out of Xenia's ear. If I had to take a guess, it's either Skittles or gummy bears. And for God's sakes, kids, please don't try that one at home. There are better ways to make candy fall out of your friends than kicking them like a piñata. Into the corner, Xenia goes. Oh, good gravy! Somebody's been paying attention to the Leopard Women's matches, and those are some devastating strikes. And you really have to wonder, is it both of Las Sicarias Linwood doesn't like, or just Mercedes? Veronica seems likable enough, but Mercedes scares the living hell out of me. Before she was a wrestler, she was one of the most feared debt collectors in Medellin, and you can see why. We got the alley-oop with a sneaky little penalty kick. I got a bad feeling there's evil doings afoot, and what is... Good gravy! Mercedes just punched Xenia with brass knuckles. Hey Uni, play that back. Let's see that again. This dirty little trick comes straight out of the playbook of Las Sicarias' biggest heroes, the Cockney pickpockets. This is some real dirty pool, folks. Shawnee breaks up the count just before the one. Referee Tom Herb is slacking on the job, and not even Shawnee is safe from the aggression of Mercedes Cortez. Mercedes is beating Xenia like she owes her money. which is very apropos given her previous line of work. Into the corner goes Xenia. And oh, I think we've seen... Oh my god. Oh my god, I just realized. How did I not notice this before? Hey, play that back, Ernie. Let's take another look at that. This right here, folks. This is the mystery woman who assaulted Athena Kanakarides and Kimberly Sullivan. I can't believe I didn't clock that one before. I blame all of you for distracting me. And into the corner, Xenia goes. There's the tag to Veronica. Nothing terribly fancy here. Just a couple of cheeky knees to the gut. And a suplex in stereo. If Las Sicarias can't win over the crowd here tonight, they can at least put the hurting on their opposition. This crowd may or may not be Coven fans, but they are not liking what is happening to Xenia right now. Good gravy, did you see that? Where the hell are you, referee Tom Herb? Hey, play it back, Ernie. This is absolutely appalling behavior, and another greatest hit from their heroes, the Cockney Pickpockets. Referee Tom Herb taking his damn time. 1, 2, 3. Las Sicarias take the win. Let's go take a look at some of Ernie the cameraman's highlights. I don't know about any of you folks, but I am shocked and appalled. Las Sicarias' conduct in this match was nothing short of reprehensible. I've always held up that our women's tag division is much better than our men's, but it's this kind of crap that makes it really hard to defend. Referee Tom Herb should be ashamed of himself for being so easily distracted. It really makes you wonder, why does it fall to the referee to replace the turnbuckle pads? Surely we have minions for that. It almost feels like Las Sicarias have given up trying to win the crowd's approval. Now they're just out to make every other team bleed. It's really horrible whenever that happens to a wrestler, and it's doubly horrible when you've got a cult leader like Alonso Constanzo, whispering poison in their ears and appealing to their insecurities. But that's one of the many ways that cults get you, folks. Stay vigilant. If you think it couldn't happen to you, you really need to stay vigilant, because it can happen to anyone. Normally I'd be congratulating Las Sicarias on a victory, but there was nothing glorious about this victory. I haven't seen this much cheering since the last Cockney Pickpockets match, and these two should be thoroughly ashamed of themselves. With Las Sicarias falling under El Padrino's spell and joining Sector Del Muerte, our women's tag team division just took a marked turn for the worse. Trust me folks, no good will come of this. If that last match left a bit of a bad taste in your mouth, then this match is going to be exactly the palate cleanser you need. After a whole lot of anticipation, Helena is finally making her proper singles debut. And I've got to say that going up against one of the best in our women's division, the prototype Nikita Kalishnikov, well, that makes a hell of a statement. We're about to find out if Helena's got what it takes to hang in the singles division, but having seen what Helena can do in the ring, I for one am cautiously optimistic. Let's go and check out her debut right now. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, representing the Coven from Salem, Massachusetts in the United States. She is every mother's nightmare. She is Helena. See, what did I tell you folks? Magic powers. You all laughed at me when I started walking around with this magic egg in my pocket, but who's gonna be laughing when I'm the only one walking out of here tonight without a hex? But I gotta say, I am a little confused about her nickname, Every Mother's Nightmare. Maybe that's because every mother lives in fear of their child turning out like Helena, or their child dating someone like Helena. But I gotta say, if I had a daughter and she turned out like Helena, I think that would be the coolest thing ever. I'd be going around telling everyone, hey, that's my daughter beating the crap out of Kimberly Sullivan. I couldn't be prouder. And I'm not just saying all this to try and suck up to her because I'm scared of her magic powers. which I kind of am, but that's not really the point. After seeing what she can do and seeing her win in that steel cage match against Tessa Hatcher, I am genuinely excited to see what she's going to bring to the women's singles division. She's got herself one hell of an opponent in Nikita Kalishnikov tonight, and if she can pull off a win, that is going to make a very bold statement. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I've got to reiterate how snazzy those new threads are. Whoever touched those up did a really good job, and I tip my hat to them, whoever they may be. I did hear a rumor that the costume designer dresses like a slob in real life, but I guess it's a case of do as I say and not as I do. And her opponent, from the former Soviet Union, the prototype, Nikita Kalishnikov. Helena is not the only one whose costume has had a bit of a touch-up. After a stop-off at the panel beaters and a bit of an oil change, the prototype is tuned and set up to within a whisker of perfection. I've got to say though, from where the prototype is standing, she's got a lot to lose and not much to gain with this match. If she gets beaten by a newcomer in their debut match. Even if she wins, Helena just got beaten by one of the best in our women's division, and that's not really a shock. But I suppose that as long as us lowly plebeians watching this get a good match, that's really all that matters. And while I don't want to jinx it, I think we're going to get a humdinger of a match. Referee Tom Herb rings the bell, and it would behoove the newcomer Helena to show a little caution and not go running blindly into this, her first match. Prototype gets a headlock, and believe it or not, folks, back in Yo-Yo Brown's day, it wasn't unusual to see wrestlers putting each other in headlocks for 20 minutes. Crowds just ate that up. Yo-Yo Brown once had a guy in a headlock for 3 hours and 28 minutes. And look at that spinning power slam from Helena off the rebound. We have got a bit of a gun show, and I hope you got a license for those, Helena. We're seeing some more Yo-Yo Brown style old school wrestling, and can you believe crowds used to eat this up? Thankfully, wrestling has moved on since the days of Yo-Yo Brown, for the better I might add, but the fundamentals remain. And I'm sorry if I'm going on about Yo-Yo Brown and Helena's debut match, but I've been doing a deep dive of that guy's Instagram, and he is into some crazy sugar. Helena knocking her down with the running clothesline. So far, so good. And I'm sorry to keep going on about Yo-Yo Brown, but he believes he has access to a network of wormholes. These wormholes allow him to travel through time and space and wrestle 500 days a year. Alabama Slam from Helena. He also believes that the moon was built in 1928 by the Soviet Union. Apparently they wanted a way to spy on people at night. The prototype was not expecting this level of aggression and competition. If she can't dig deep and rally, this match is going to be over very soon. And look at that! Body scissors into the roll-up and a kick out before the one. And while I should be giving this match my full attention, between Las Sicarias joining Sector Del Muerte and Yo-Yo Brown's, well, everything, I am absolutely bum-fuzzled. While I wait for the bum-fuzzlement to wear off, I'm just going to do my best. And look at that, an inverted leg lock from the prototype. Can she make Helena tap out? Oh, Helena is powering out. Stiff punch to the head breaks the hold, and we are back on our feet. Helena gets the prototype by the scruff of the neck, and onto the ropes we go. Here's the brute strength of Helena, and we got a two-pointer right into the ropes. And look at those guns again. We're early into the match, but we're seeing a whole lot of promise from Helena. Now it's her turn to go against the ropes. We got the Irish whip into the ropes, a miss with the discus clothesline, and a hit on the rebound. And folks, if you hear any strange noises, that's because some horrible person let a fox terrier loose in this abandoned warehouse. They also gave him a bunch of chew toys and encouraged them to be really noisy. You see what I have to put up with on this job, folks? Oh, that looks painful. The prototype finally starting to find her feet in this match, and hopefully we don't get any more interruptions from any fox terriers running around this abandoned warehouse. Helena posting up on the middle rope, and something wicked this way comes in the form of a shoulder tackle. This match is a battle between magic and science fiction, and that may be potentially one of the dumbest things I've ever said, but that's a pretty high bar. Helena is straight up ragdolling her opponent, and her brute strength never fails to impress. Into the corner the prototype goes. Nothing fancy here, just a punishing scoop slam. Helena back on the middle rope, and nobody home with that shoulder tackle. Prototype takes to the middle rope, and oh my god, this looks like it's gonna be cool. Booyah! That was badass! Let's see that again. I have never seen the prototype do this one, but this is another keeper from her seemingly limitless bag of tricks. The prototype is in fine form tonight. And we got a victory roll into a double stomp to the gut. Hey Ernie, what the hell? Did you push the wrong button there? What's going on? What's going on here? Is somebody coming out? I bet this is all the doing of that fox terrier running around the abandoned warehouse. Either way, these kind of distractions are not appreciated. That said, that distraction gave Helena the time she needed to recover, and she is clobbering back. Can she get the pin? One! Kick out after the one. And folks, if we find that fox terrier, can we just take him aside and give him a treat? You know, just to keep him busy and out of trouble? Russian leg sweep. The prototype is revving up and boom goes the leg drop. Helena is rolling out of the ring and clinging to the safety of the ropes. We got a stunner against the ropes and Helena tumbles back to the cardboard. The prototype is finally realizing she has got a serious threat on her hands. Out of the ring she goes, and there's the diving senton. The crowd in the front row are loving seeing this action up close and personal. And we got the whip into the barricade. Russian leg sweep into the fence, and Helena goes down. And just a reminder to all you folks in the front row, please refrain from interfering in the match, unless you can find a way to make it really funny. Ernie the cameraman can never have too many clips for the highlight reels. Ow! That looked really painful. If Kalishnikov wants to snap her neck in half like that, we will not be held liable. Helena's getting back to the ring, and what awaits her? Oh, I think we're gonna see it. One barbachka! Two barbachkas! Three barbachkas! That was Nikita Kalishnikov's barbachka roll. What the hell? Good gravy! How did Helena do that? See, what did I tell you? Magic powers. Helena comes to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Spinning discus punch lays her out on the canvas, and she is back up and clobbering back. Russian leg sweep. I gotta say that so far, this match is really going the distance. Good gravy! Referee Tom Herb takes some collateral damage. Helena comes clobbering back, and she is brute forcing her way to victory. And speaking of brute force, booyah! Can she get the pin? 1, 2. Kick out after the 2, but let's see that again. This was a straight up deadlift into a suplex, and my god, the level of strength required. This Linwood crowd is going absolutely ape sugar. This is exactly the kind of match we all came to see tonight, and we are not disappointed. But you know what would be disappointing? You not liking and subscribing to Linwood Wrestling Legends. We are seeing a very spirited comeback from the prototype. She is just unloading with punches and punches and bunches and bunches. We are going coast to coast and post to post, and the punches don't stop. Helena is getting the first class tour of the ring with all expenses included. Dropkick lays her out. Now that was a hell of a comeback. 1, 2. Oh, so close. Both wrestlers are showing an amazing amount of resilience and endurance. I think we're gonna see it, and here it comes. The Kalishnikov special. Let's take another look. This devastating combo has been passed down the Kalishnikov family for at least one generation. Is this gonna be enough for the pin though? 1, 2. Oh, so close. How much more is it gonna take to put down Helena? And I have just received a memo from one of Todd's minions. The rogue fox terrier has been apprehended and given a chewy bone, so hopefully we won't get any more disruptions from him. The tide keeps turning back and forth, and here's another show of brute strength. We got the deadlift into a military press. Just look at that. To say the least, this kind of strength is unnatural and possibly magical in origin. But I got the feeling we have not seen the last of Helena's brute strength. And boom, there we go. What did I just tell you? And if that wasn't enough, here's another application of that brute strength. She is going for the Boston Crab. And can she make the prototype tap? The pain has got to be excruciating, but the prototype is holding on for dear life. And she is powering out. We got a pin. 1, 2. Oh, so close. And folks, I do apologize for the sloppy camera work of Ernie the cameraman there. Don't look at me like that, Ernie. You know it's true. I think we're gonna see it, folks. Here it comes. Boom! The love kill leg slice. Let's take another look. How does a person even come up with a move like this? I got no idea, but I'm glad she did, because that makes one hell of a highlight. Can she get the pin? 1. Oh, rope break. This crowd is chanting one more time, but I don't know how many Volovka leg slices the prototype has left in her. You people of Linwood need to stop being so greedy. Helena's clinging to the ropes and she gets the headbutt off the apron. We are going on to the cardboard. Well, at least we might be, if the prototype ever cares to join us. And here she comes now. Helena is looking for some payback, and here it comes. Northern Lights suplex. That was a beaut. Do they even get the Northern Lights in the former Soviet Union? Apparently they do now, so let's take another look. And just a reminder that we are no longer able to sell you cardboard stained with the blood of your favorite wrestler. Don't blame us, blame the health department. We are seeing a whole lot of aggression spill out onto the cardboard, but this one had better go back in the ring. Not telling you what to do, just throwing it out there. Helena gets whipped into the steel stairs. At least I think they're steel. It's hard to tell with all that dried blood. Helena with the backbreaker. We are going up the apples and pears and back into the ring, and the prototype better hurry up and follow. This count is really coming down the wire. Can the prototype even make it back in? And Helena resets the count. Diving axe handle knocks her off her feet, and we are right in the barricade. Massive body splash, and this crowd goes wild. These two are really pushing their luck with that count out, and this is way too good a match to end in a count out, so let's go back to the ring ASAP. Anytime you two are ready, just take your sweet time. And speaking of time, Yo-Yo Brown claims that he once had himself cryogenically frozen for 6 years at a period during the 1980s. He said he did it to give the other wrestlers time to catch up and become as good as him. And mercifully, we are back in the ring. The prototype is looking to bring this one home, and she is driving the knee into her back. And oh, what an absolute beating both of these wrestlers have given and taken during this match. Prototype posting up off the middle rope, and we're gonna see that sweet elbow drop. Boom! You gotta love that. The prototype is not done putting the boots to her opponent, but she better take it home quickly, because how much have either of these wrestlers got left in the tank at this point? Helena goes off into the ropes, and the prototype woefully misses with that rebound attack. And now Helena is looking for payback. Stiff right hand drops into the canvas. Helena is rallying her reserves and looking to bring this one home. And we got a straight up deadlift into a sit-out powerbomb. But is that going to be enough for the pin? 1, 2, 3. Helena takes the win. Let's go check out some ringside highlights from Ernie the cameraman. Folks, this was one hell of a debut from Helena. She came out here tonight with a lot to prove, and man, did she ever prove it. Despite the interference of dark sorcery and rogue fox terriers, this is a match that truly went the distance. Despite the loss, we saw the prototype dig deep into her bag of tricks and put on a stellar performance. But at the end of the day, she was not prepared for the brute strength and sheer tenacity of Helena. This surprise victory is going to have a ripple effect throughout the whole women's division, and all the other women are officially on notice. It's safe to say that Helena's debut exceeded all our expectations, and I for one can't wait to see that dream match between her and Lady Liberty, Maggie Dixon. I'd be lying if I said I didn't play favorites, and I've made no secret of the fact that Lady Liberty is my favorite, but who knows, maybe given time Helena might win me over. It's a lot to mull over so early in the game, but the important thing is that our women's singles division just got a hell of a lot better. I can't wait for the people of Medellin, Colombia to see Helena in action. Congratulations to Helena for this victory in her first singles match. That was absolutely monumental and absolutely mind-blowing. For all we know, that rogue fox terrier may just be her familiar. She may have summoned him to sow chaos. But as always, this is Linwood, and we roll with the punches. Mercedes Cortez, between beating Athena backstage, joining Sector Del Muerte, and that disgraceful display we saw earlier, you've got splaining to do. We'll give you a pass on beating up Kimberly, though. Who among us wouldn't have? Whoa, that escalated quickly. I hate to say it, but there is a very small kernel of truth here, but she has taken it way too far. The people of Linwood made you do that? Well, I guess you're the real victim here, Mercedes. And another victim of Kimberly Sullivan's pump and dump cryptocurrency scam. Wow, you're really winning him over tonight, Mercedes. Folks, what we're seeing is not even a heel turn. This is a whole other, as yet unclassified animal. Oh, now you've done it, Mercedes. You are about to experience the wrath of the Greek goddess. I'm sure Veronica's nice enough, but yeah, you're kind of a horrible person, Mercedes. I like where this is going. I have no idea what that Greek word means, but it's probably not a term of endearment. We really need a translator on this show. And there you have it, folks. Pending the approval of our general manager Todd Sorensen, which is just a formality, it is on like Donkey Kong. And this one's gonna be a bloodbath. Make no mistake, revenge can be one hell of a motivator. But if you've ever seen the movie Law-Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx, which is a good movie, then you'll know that sometimes in his pursuit of vengeance, an injustice collector can go just a little too far. And folks, Nero reached that point about 5 minutes ago. Having extracted revenge on Linwood Knight and the Iceberg, now Nero is straight up blaming everyone for his brother's death and the disfigurement of his face. He's just pulling names out of the hat at this stage, and today's name was Yuri Kalishnikov. While we as a wrestling promotion probably should be looking into getting Nero the help he needs, this is going to make for one spectacular match. If there's one thing I've learned from my boss Todd Sorensen, is that there's nothing more important than bums on seats. Whatever's wrong with Nero can probably keep till after the match, so let's go check it out. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Havana, Cuba, he is Hell Unleashed. He is Nero. I've got a super bad feeling about this match, folks. What started as a quest for revenge that some might call noble has gone completely off the rails. Nero is seeing enemies everywhere. If you didn't see it on his social media, yesterday Nero went on a very unhinged rant about how he's going to, quote-unquote, make Yuri Kalishnikov suffer deeply for his transgressions. I'm not privy to all the details of our wrestlers' private lives, but I guarantee 100% there have been no transgressions from the proletariat hero. Any responsible promotion would get Nero the help he needs instead of egging him on. But folks, when has Linwood Wrestling Legends ever been a responsible promotion? And his opponent, from Poprovskoye, Siberia in Russia, he is the proletariat hero, Yuri Kalishnikov. I really do not envy the proletariat hero tonight. He's probably got no idea what the hell is going on. All he knows is that he's a professional and the people came here tonight to see a match. So he's going to give them a match. We can only hope that win or lose, Nero gets whatever this craziness is out of his system, and we can all move on. For all I know, I could be the next target of Nero's aggression, and I bruise easily, so I am shaking in my boots. Nero isn't even the first delusional wrestler whose delusions have been encouraged tonight. We all saw Yo-Yo Brown earlier, and while we might all have a bit of a giggle at the ridiculous things Yo-Yo Brown believes, there is nothing funny about being targeted by Nero. Unless it happens to somebody I really don't like, and then I'm fine with it. But I like the proletariat hero, and so do all the good people of Linwood. Referee Tom Herb rings the bell and this madness gets underway with a suplex from Nero. Even if I could read Nero's lips, it wouldn't help because he's wearing a mask. We can only imagine the kind of delusional ramblings spewing forth under that mask. Yuri Kalishnikov finds himself in a headlock and Nero with an elbow to the head. Kalishnikov starting to power out and boom goes the suplex. He should thank his lucky stars it wasn't Yo-Yo Brown putting him in that headlock. If it was Yo-Yo Brown, you could watch this entire show twice on your phone and still be in the headlock. I'm willing to entertain a lot of Yo-Yo Brown's BS, but having a guy in a headlock for 3 hours and 28 minutes? Who the hell wants to see that, and why did nobody break it up? Surely there must have been other matches on the card that night. I can't imagine the other wrestlers would take too kindly to their time being eaten up by Yo-Yo Brown's headlock. But back to this match, and we got a sky-high body splash from Nero. And why would you even brag about something like that? 3 hours and 28 minutes is an oddly specific amount of time. It's almost like he's trying to beat somebody else's record. I'm sorry folks, I really should be focusing on this match. But this whole Yo-Yo Brown situation is throwing me off my game. And Kalishnikov gets thrown into the ropes, face first. We're seeing a whole lot of aggression from Nero tonight, and it's still not clear what Kalishnikov has done to warrant it. The proletariat hero has taken one hell of a beating, and things are looking pretty grim. And folks, things like this can happen when you encourage other people's dangerous delusions. And yes, General Manager Todd Sorensen, I'm talking to you. Nero looking left, looking right, and sticking a jumping DDT. Nero coming in hot with the moonsault off the springboard, but nobody home. Kalishnikov finally has a window of opportunity, but can he turn the tide in this match? Hopefully, Nero is starting to rethink his early aggression, and that was an artful dodge if ever I've seen one. Kalishnikov coming in from behind, and Nero goes face first into the turnbuckle. The proletariat hero revving up, and there goes the trap clothesline. Kalishnikov is done with Nero's madness, and he is trying to beat some sense into him, literally and figuratively. Nero manages to stick a sneaky counter, and look at that Hurricane Rana. The ranting and raving of Nero continues, and the worst is yet to come. Good gravy! Body splash from the springboard. Nero posting back up on the apron. And boom goes the senton splash. When a wrestling match becomes this one-sided, it gets really hard to watch. Unless it's happening to somebody I really don't like. But that's not the case here. We got a frog splash off the springboard. Is this going to be enough to get Nero the pin? One. Ooh, kick out after the one. And folks, I have received a memo from one of Todd's minions. The rogue fox terrier has escaped the cafeteria and may possibly cause more mayhem. That's all we bloody need on a night like tonight. All I wanted was to commentate on some good wrestling matches, but now I gotta deal with all this BS. Kalishnikov squeezing Nero against the ropes. But has he learned his lesson yet? Posting up off the middle rope, and no doubt he's got something cooking. Dropkick lays out Nero on the canvas. Can he get the pin? Kick out before the one. Kalishnikov putting Nero in the fireman's carry. Nero elbowing his way out. Nero comes running in with the head scissors. And there goes a moonsault off the middle rope. And while I always wanted to see a match between these two, I did not want it to go down like this, and Kalishnikov goes into the corner. Stiff headbutt from Nero sends him to the floor. With a little assistance from the ropes, Nero gets in a few good stomps. Kalishnikov is already injured, but we have seen him come through much tougher scrapes than this. Kalishnikov comes in with the takedown, traps the arm, and he is going for the crossface. Can he make Nero tap? And Nero is powering out. Kalishnikov goes up and over the ropes. Nero hitting him with the stunner. Onto the cardboard he goes. Good gravy, another body press from the slingshot. He is getting a lot of mileage out of those tonight. Nero takes to the barricade. Going for the moonsault, but nobody home. Kalishnikov prodding his opponent with a series of kicks that can only be described as sarcastic. How humiliating for Nero. The tussle continues, and good gravy, Nero gets spiked into the ring post. I could hear that metallic clang from under the announcer's desk. Hopefully that knocked a bit of sense into him, but I strongly doubt it. We got a bit of confusion and a bit of back and forth outside the apron. And Kalishnikov comes in with a sleeper hold. Can he make this one stick? If anything, Nero really needs a good night's sleep so he can forget about this revenge nonsense, but he is powering his way out. This one better go back in the ring soon, or referee Tom Herb is going to break out the big boy numbers. Good golly, Miss Molly, that was close. Nero sticks the head scissors, and that looked like it hurt, but not as much as it hurts me when people like you don't like and subscribe to Linwood Wrestling Legends. Nero's about to take flight, and are we gonna see it? Oh, I think we are. Luna Cayendo! That one never fails to amaze, so let's go take another look. Nero's got a lot of impressive moves in his arsenal, but the Luna Cayendo might just be his pièce de résistance. Did I say that right? Pièce de résistance? We're seeing a lot of bruises and welts on the back of the proletariat hero. Nero clocks it with a hurricane runner off the springboard. And can he get the pin? 1, 2. Oh, so close. This match may be a short, sharp affair, but I feel like we've been through so much already in such a short time. Kalishnikov gives him the slip, and here come the chops. Boom! Short arm clothesline. And another. But this is exactly what I was talking about. Just look how fast-paced wrestling has become these days. If you tried telling any of these wrestlers, hey, you gotta go out there and put the other fella in a headlock for 3 hours and 28 minutes, they would think you lost your damn mind, and rightfully so. The proletariat hero's starting to get a little payback, but can he turn the tide of this match so deep into it? And good gravy, that is quite the head wound there. You don't get injuries like that from being in a headlock for 3 hours and 28 minutes. The wrestling game has indeed changed. Good gravy, Moscow Torpedo. That's gotta be it. Let's take another look. This might not have been the match Kalishnikov wanted, but if anything can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, it's the Moscow Torpedo. I hope he's not going for a headlock, because I don't have a stopwatch, but no, he's going into the ropes. And oh, you are done, my friend. Kalishnikov special. We gotta see that one again. We saw Yuri's sister Nikita bust this one out earlier, and it's always a crowd pleaser. Just look at that devastating 1-2 punch. It's anyone's guess why Kalishnikov isn't taking the pin here, but let's hope he's building to something more spectacular. We got the chop to the chest, a la Ric Flair and Gunther, and off the turnbuckle he bounces. If I had to guess, the proletariat hero wants to teach Nero a lesson. This is why you shouldn't pick fights with people who don't deserve it. Nero with the pop-up Hurricane Runner, down goes Kalishnikov. What the hell is he doing? If we're going to see shenanigans with the turnbuckle pad, I am not on board for that. Kalishnikov getting dragged away from the safety of the ropes to the middle of the ring, and I got a real bad feeling. Oh god, we've seen this before. Boom! Charging 450 splash. That's going to be all she wrote. 1, 2, 3. Nero takes the win. Let's go take a look at some highlights Ernie the cameraman has compiled for us. Seriously, again with the damn headlocks? As much as I'd love to never hear the word headlock again, I don't think I'm ever going to be that lucky. This was not a match that the proletariat hero was in any way prepared for. But even though he knew he might lose, he still sucked it up, went out here and gave it every damn thing he had. And there's a lesson in that for all of us. I don't know what that lesson might be, but I am a color commentator and not a Greek philosopher. Credit where credit is due though, folks. Kalishnikov looked like he had this thing in the bag right towards the end. But sometimes all it can take is one little slip, and before you know it, your opponent has found a crack in your armor. I don't think this is going to be the last time we'll see these two facing off, but I guarantee next time the proletariat hero will come prepared. Forewarned is forearmed. And I've never understood that one because the muscles in your forearms are some of the weakest in your body. Just ask anybody who's ever tried to pull off a deadlift. So congratulations to Nero for lashing out and beating up a guy that never did a damn thing to him. Revenge can be a hell of a motivator, but if you persist in it too long, you will become misdirected. It happened to Nero, it happened to Gerard Butler and law-abiding citizen, and it can happen to you too. And by that, I mean you watching this right now, and not the Irish rock band that sells millions of records despite the fact that nobody likes them. And here he is, the man of the hour. Congratulations to Yo-Yo Brown for stealing all the thunder from the Triple Threat main event we were all looking forward to, and making tonight's show all about him. The sooner the iceberg beats the stuffing out of this geriatric, the sooner we can get to that main event, so let's just get this over with. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Detroit, Michigan in the United States, he is the Detroit original, Yo-Yo Brown. Oh, for God's sakes, he's got a walking stick. This is a clear-cut case of elder abuse, and I am not cool with it. There are many elephants to address in this particular room, so putting aside Yo-Yo Brown's advanced age and questionable mental state, let's get to a really big one. A lot has changed since Yo-Yo Brown was last in the ring. Back in the day, you could just put a couple of lumbering brontosauruses in the ring, have them give each other headlocks for 20 minutes apiece, and the crowd would blow the roof off the place. To say that Yo-Yo Brown's style of wrestling is dated and archaic would be a gross understatement. Wrestling is a lot more fast-paced and intricate these days. Can he even hang with the newer guys like the Iceberg? Even in his prime, I guarantee Yo-Yo Brown would have struggled against the faster, more cruiserweight style of wrestlers we have today. And his opponent, from Providence, Rhode Island in the United States, the Iceberg, Jacob Berg. I really do not envy the Iceberg's position here. If he loses, he just lost to a guy who's 8 million years old and completely off his rocker. If he wins, then congratulations. You just beat up a senior citizen with a questionable grasp on reality. Obviously, the Iceberg didn't volunteer for this, but as a former stage magician, he knows more than anyone. The show must go on. And who better than a former stage magician to turn this pile of dog sugar to diamonds? Referee Tom Herb rings the bell and in comes Yo-Yo Brown with the body tackle. This is the most attention Yo-Yo Brown has got for 30 years and he is just lapping it up. Into the ropes goes the Iceberg and we got the up and over with the back body drop. Yo-Yo Brown can't resist telling off this young whippersnapper and doing a little bit of a shuck and jive. Oh, for God's sakes, a headlock? Oh, thank God. I was worried that one was going to go on for 3 hours and 29 minutes. It should also be mentioned that we don't know exactly how old Yo-Yo Brown is, and I don't even think Yo-Yo Brown knows. We're still waiting on the results of the carbon dating. The Iceberg is showing some reluctance to beat up this senior citizen, and Yo-Yo Brown is taking that as an open invitation to relive his glory days. But I've got to say, I'm amazed that Yo-Yo Brown's wrestling costume still fits. He wore that costume for most of his career in the 60s and 70s, and as you can see, it's still clinging on for dear life. While Yo-Yo Brown might be lacking in speed or agility, he can still put a lot of power behind his moves, as we saw with that dropkick. He claims to get his strength from daily injections of orphan tears, but we find that claim highly dubious. Into the corner the Iceberg goes. And you've really got to hand it to Yo-Yo Brown. He'll just pick one of the 4 moves at his disposal and absolutely do it to death. Into the ring post the Iceberg goes, shoulder first. After receiving this kind of a beatdown, hopefully the Iceberg will overcome his reluctance to beat the stuffing out of a wrestler old enough to have lived through the Great Depression. At least he'd better, otherwise this is going to be a very one-sided match. And just a reminder that our staff veterinarian is on hand, just in case Yo-Yo Brown breaks a hip walking from one end of the ring to the other. The Iceberg is looking a little woozy. Let's hope he can get it together and save this travesty of a match. And here we go. Russian leg sweep. Is that going to be enough for the pin? Kick out before the 1. It should also be mentioned that a lot of the moves that today's wrestlers consider staples, well, they hadn't even been invented back in Yo-Yo Brown's day. The Iceberg hitting the trapeze and going for a tornado DDT. Let's see that again. We should also mention that the DDT wasn't invented until the 80s, during a period in which Yo-Yo Brown claims he was in cryogenic sleep. And just like any of Yo-Yo Brown's claims, we find that one highly dubious too. Yo-Yo Brown misses with a Superman punch and leaves himself wide open to some devastating punches from the Iceberg. Yo-Yo Brown back on his feet. The Iceberg goes over the shoulder. We got a power slam into a pin, but can he get it? 1, 2, oh, kick out just before the 2. Referee Tom Herb is going translucent. One has to wonder if that's a side effect of the wormhole Yo-Yo Brown claims he traveled through to get here tonight. The Iceberg goes into the ropes. Counters Yo-Yo Brown with a headlock and a DDT. He is officially done playing patty cake with this decrepit fossil. If Yo-Yo Brown wants to hang with today's crowd, he is really going to have to up his game, and into the corner he goes. Oh, are we going to see an avalanche? Good gravy! That might not have been an avalanche, but that was a gory iconoclasm. Another move that didn't exist back in Yo-Yo Brown's day. And here comes Yo-Yo Brown's finisher, the Yo-Yo Drop. Let's see that again. The Yo-Yo Drop is basically a scoop slam into a leg drop, both of which are moves Yo-Yo Brown claims he invented. 1, 2. Oh, nearly had him there. Folks, that was about the extent of Yo-Yo Brown's technical skills. It's all downhill from here. This crowd is chanting, "We're not worthy." And no, you are not. You are not worthy to hear my commentary, but I will allow it, because I am magnanimous. But even I've got to admit, this match is turning out a lot better than the sugar show I thought it was gonna be. The Iceberg is finally putting up some resistance, and looky what we have here. Cactus Driver! Yo-Yo Brown is laid out on the canvas, and oh, I think we're gonna see it, folks. Boom! Now that's how you do a leg drop. Let's take another look. Even if Yo-Yo Brown did invent the leg drop, which he didn't, the Iceberg just perfected it here. As far as exhibition matches go, I have seen a lot worse than this, so I am pleasantly surprised. And good God, do I really hope this is an exhibition match, because I do not want to see Yo-Yo Brown here on the regular. We already have enough delusional wrestlers, and that particular boat is full. Iceberg goes into the corner. The Iceberg attempting a lift, but Yo-Yo Brown counters out with an elbow and a clothesline. What the hell was that? Yo-Yo Brown is officially done with the kid gloves. He is looking to put the hurting on the Iceberg. He is squishing the Iceberg's neck against the ropes. And there's the rebound. Yo-Yo Brown also claims that it was his idea for wrestlers to wrestle in a ring. Apparently before that, they would do it in a giant pit that had to be dug the night before. The Iceberg of Yo-Yo Brown's craziness runs deep. And this Iceberg is about to meet one of Yo-Yo Brown's signatures. This is a triple teardrop suplex that he calls the Three Homies. Eddie Guerrero had his triple suplex, the Three Amigos, and Yo-Yo Brown claims he stole that from him. Let's go take another look at that. What the hell? Hey Ernie, did you push the wrong button? You are gonna be so fired, Ernie. Good gravy, what the hell is going on? Folks, a lot just happened there, so let's check the replay. First, we got Yo-Yo Brown serving up the Three Homies. And I guarantee the late great Eddie Guerrero did not steal this one from him. Then we saw the Iceberg go down, disappear, and reappear behind him as if by magic. Anything can happen in pro wrestling, and I guess it just did. There's no faking that surprise on referee Tom Herb's face. And here comes the Iceberg with a signature of his own, the Prestige. That was a classy move, so let's see another replay. Now you see him, now you don't. Abracadabra and the Iceberg is still making the magic happen tonight in this ring. Yo-Yo Brown looking unsteady on his feet. Stiff right hand from the Iceberg knocks him to the canvas. And what do you got, Yo-Yo Brown? I hate to say it, but I think we have seen everything in Yo-Yo Brown's limited repertoire of moves. If people like the Yo-Yo Drop the first time around, they'll love it the second time around. 1, 2, 3. Yo-Yo Brown takes the win. Let's go take a look at some highlights from this Clash of the Generations. Sometimes the best approach is to keep it simple. Just look at AC/DC. And Yo-Yo Brown is all about keeping it simple. A novice wrestler could easily learn Yo-Yo Brown's moveset in an afternoon, but tonight he used them to devastating effect. In the Iceberg's defense, who wouldn't be reluctant to go out there and beat up a senior citizen with a slippery grasp on reality? Make no mistake, we have some horrible wrestlers here that absolutely would do that. And that's why General Manager Todd Sorensen didn't put them in the ring with Yo-Yo Brown. This whole match was a clear case of elder abuse and a lawsuit waiting to happen, and thank God it didn't go off the rails. The Iceberg got his chance to strut his stuff with the crowd once again, but at the end of the day it was the solid fundamentals of Yo-Yo Brown that brought this thing home. And it's often said by the older generation that the newcomers lack those fundamentals. Judging by the amount of sloppy collisions we have on a nightly basis here, they may have a point. But at the same time, do we really want to do away with that faster cruiserweight style and just go back to having Yo-Yo Brown put a guy in a headlock for 3 hours and 28 minutes? I for one certainly do not. I don't care how much audiences back in the day loved seeing that. Audiences have moved on, and so has the sport of wrestling. To say that Yo-Yo Brown is a throwback from a simpler time is not doing him justice, because he still thinks he's hot sugar. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that I have had enough of Yo-Yo Brown for the evening. So congratulations to Yo-Yo Brown for his victory in this absolute travesty of a match. I am really hoping this is going to be one of those one and done guest appearances, because after tonight, I don't want to hear the words Yo-Yo Brown or headlock for a really long time. General Manager Todd Sorensen and all the people that made this match happen should be thoroughly ashamed of themselves. Finally, we made it, folks. This right here is the main event of the evening, and the match I've been looking forward to all week before somebody who I don't want to name anymore rudely hijacked the show. What we're seeing here tonight started off as a rivalry between the leopard woman Grace Mutibo and the blue bomber Whitney Olivier. And then we have the mean girl Kimberly Sullivan caught in the crossfire. To avoid any more matches being interrupted and counted out as DQs, we're just going to have the three of them duke it out tonight in a triple threat match. Just to make things extra spicy, the winner of this match gets a title shot next week against La Madrina. This is a match with no countouts and no DQs, and oh yes, there will be blood. So kick back, grab an overpriced beverage from the concession stand, and let's get this hurt train a-rolling. The following match is a triple threat match. There will be no countouts and no disqualifications. Introducing our first contender, from Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, she is the Leopard Woman, Grace Mutibo. I don't know about you folks, but I got a good feeling about this one. After dealing with all the unpleasantness from earlier on, now we can get down to some honest-to-God wrestling, and this one looks like it's gonna be a ripper. Whoever wins this triple threat gets the next title shot next week, so we may very well be looking at the next women's champion. It's been a long time since we've had a triple threat, but unlike some wrestling promotions, whose names I won't mention, we don't go around shoving wrestlers into triple threats or fatal four-ways willy-nilly. If you've been watching this show for any length of time, you'll know that the occasion absolutely called for it tonight. But if this is your first time at Linwood Wrestling Legends, then you've got a whole back catalogue to devour. And you should absolutely do that after this match. And then tell all your friends to do it, and have them tell all their friends. Daddy needs the clicks. And our next contender, from Brisbane, Queensland in Australia, the mean girl, Kimberly Sullivan. In this triumvirate of bloodshed and broken bones, you could say that Kimberly Sullivan is the innocent bystander. As much as I hate to use the words innocent and Kimberly Sullivan in the same sentence, she had nothing to do with this rivalry going on between Grace Mutibo and Whitney Olivier. Make no mistake, folks, Kimberly Sullivan has done a lot of crummy things. She ripped off a lot of people with her cryptocurrency pump and dump scam, and she absolutely deserves comeuppance of some sort. This is one of those very rare cases where Kimberly Sullivan was the innocent bystander who got pulled into a feud between two other wrestlers. That said, she took to the mic and had a bit of a tantrum last week, so she kind of brought this all on herself. I like to think that her presence tonight is our general manager Todd Sorensen's unique way of punishing her. Hopefully whatever beating she gets tonight will make her think twice about ripping people off with cryptocurrency. And our third and final contender, from Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada, the Blue Bomber, Whitney Olivier. This triple threat may be too close to call, but if I had to give the advantage to anyone, it would be the Blue Bomber, Whitney Olivier. She has got the size, the strength, and the technical skill to absolutely dominate in this match, and she has got one hell of a temper. I'm really hoping that any feuds, rivalries, or beefs end here tonight in this match, but usually it doesn't take much for any of these wrestlers to kick off, so I'm sure they'll find something else to squabble about. In the meantime, we are getting one hell of a match tonight. This is absolutely worthy of being a main event, and I can't wait. Referee Chad Remington rings the bell, and to nobody's surprise, the Leopard Woman and Whitney Olivier are going straight for each other. I wouldn't be surprised if they both see Kimberly Sullivan as just an annoying speed bump in the way of their feud. That said, the mean girl could just play strategically, wait for these two to pick each other off and then come in to bayonet the wounded. That's probably what I would do in this situation, but then again, I'm just a cowardly color commentator. Leopard Woman hitting the wheelbarrow into the arm drag. Blue Bomber going for the Tornado DDT off the springboard. The animosity between those two is absolutely palpable, and Kimberly Sullivan finds herself sandwiched right in the middle. DDT from the mean girl. Kimberly gets grazed by a dropkick from the Blue Bomber, and now she's going to work taking the cheap shots where and when she can. Leg drop to the Blue Bomber's hamstring. Grace Mutibo coming in from behind, and we got the clubbing strike to the back. Up and over Kimberly goes. Good gravy, look at that. We are seeing some serious gymnastic skills from the mean girl tonight, and some seriously measured offense. That was bloody brilliant. Not as brilliant as Kimberly thinks it was, but let's take another look anyway. As much as I hate to give Kimberly Sullivan any compliments, she is a phenomenal gymnast. And as we can see here, she saw the Blue Bomber's strikes coming a mile away. We're only a couple of minutes in, and already this triple threat is getting deliciously spicy. We got the mean girl and the Leopard Woman both trying to get the headlocks, but Whitney Olivier is powering out both times. And again with the headlocks. I thought we were past all this. Kimberly Sullivan comes charging in with a sledgehammer that's too big for her tiny little hands. Grace Mutibo gets a Superman punch off the slingshot, and can she get the pin? One! Kick out after the one. Blue Bomber picks up the sledgehammer, and she is going to work. Leopard Woman clapping back, and the sledgehammer is up for grabs again. In comes the mean girl, and we got a sit-out facebuster. Folks, there is so much happening in a triple threat match. One! Oh, kick out after the one. But as I was saying, there is so much that happens in a triple threat match that occasionally a lone commentator like yours truly may struggle to keep up. For that I do apologize, and if anything it really demonstrates what I was saying earlier about wrestling being more fast-paced these days. If this were one of Yo-Yo Brown's triple threat matches from the 60s, I wouldn't be having this problem at all because there'd be bugger all happening. And into the corner the Leopard Woman goes, and she eats a dropkick. There's Kimberly with the pull cue. Kimberly going into the corner, but she stops short and takes an axe handle to the back. Whitney Olivier is absolutely cleaning house. And there goes a sweep and a reversal from the Leopard Woman. And we got a body splash from the springboard. And a Hurricane Rana. My God, how do you keep up with all this? The mean girl's going over the ropes. And back she goes with a spinning body press. Can she get the pin? Whoa! Oh, kick out before the one. If this triple threat happened back in the day, One of these wrestlers would have the other two in separate headlocks. They'd be lumbering around the ring for 3 hours and 28 minutes, and I would be scraping my vocabulary dry, just trying to think of interesting ways to describe those headlocks. Aren't we all glad that the sport has moved on since then? The Leopard Woman puts Kimberly in the fireman's carry, and face first into the ropes. Can she get the pin? Oh, kick out from Whitney Olivier. And this right here is the difficulty of triple threat matches. If you want to pin one opponent, you've got to neutralize the other. Good gravy, look at that, Canadian Destroyer. The Blue Bomber is absolutely laying out both of her opponents, and she is determined to get that title shot. No matter where you may be in the world, it's always hammer time. The pin is right there for the taking, but for whatever reason, the Blue Bomber does not want to take it just yet. And where the hell is Kimberly Sullivan gone? The Leopard Woman unloading on the Blue Bomber and... oh, there's Kimberly. I didn't see her on account of how tiny she is. Oh, good gravy, look at that. Straight into referee Chad Remington. Kimberly Sullivan back with the pull cue, but she's given it up to take her bare hands to the Blue Bomber. Olivier ducks the kick. And Kimberly is going out of the ring. And I got a feeling this one's going to spill onto the cardboard. Boom! Spike against the edge of the apron. And ladies, please be careful with this announcer's desk that I am hiding under. Diving senton misses the mark. Nobody home, and the Leopard Woman is fired up. We got a bit of cat and mouse between Kimberly and the Blue Bomber. And look at that! Up and over and into a spine buster. And just a little insult to injury. I have never seen Kimberly do this move before, so I have no idea what it's called. But I'm sure Kimberly calls it something completely ridiculous and self-serving. We are seeing a lot of carnage already in this match. And as always, Kimberly just can't pass up the chance to be obnoxious. And she eats a DDT. The Leopard Woman is circling her prey and psyching herself up for something big, no doubt. Oh, look what we have here. Boom! Orphema Ritual. This right here, the Orphema Ritual, is one of the Leopard Woman's signatures. And ain't it a beaut? It's always a treat watching Kimberly Sullivan get snapped in half. The Blue Bomber is going for the pin, but I think Grace is going to break it up. Who saw that coming? It's all about neutralizing that second opponent before you pin the first. Into the ropes Whitney goes. Oh, look at that, ducking under. Good gravy, Blue Thunderbomb. Let's take another look. As always, the Blue Thunderbomb is a nice little nod to one of Whitney Olivier's biggest heroes, fellow Canadian Sami Zayn. Just look at this carnage. Kimberly off the springboard into the wheelbarrow, and boom goes the Bulldog. The Leopard Woman finds herself stunned against the ropes, and here comes an opportunity for Kimberly Sullivan. Look at that, rope-hung stunner. The tide of this match has turned and the mean girl is cleaning house. But let's see for how much longer. Whitney Olivier coming in with a windmill gutbuster, and that one looked painful. Oh, kick out before the one. That could have been a keeper. Leopard Woman comes in with the pull cue. Now it's her turn to try for the pin. 1, 2. Oh, so close. Kimberly Sullivan is laid out on the cardboard, and I hope she never gets up. No, wait, that's a horrible thing to say. Too far, John, too far. I'm sorry, folks, but I am still stinging about that $38 I lost investing in Kimberly coin. But I just had a thought, dear viewer. Every time a musician dies, they always get a spike in their stream straight afterwards. So if something unfortunate would have happened to Kimberly, say in this match, would my Kimberly coin all of a sudden be valuable? Not telling anybody what to do, just throwing it out there. And if something unfortunate does happen, nudge nudge, wink wink, maybe I'd cut you in for 10% of the Kimberly coin money just for telling me about it. Kimberly laying waste to the Leopard Woman with a double elbow and a spinning kick. And here comes Whitney Olivier with the pull cue. There are no countouts in a match like this, but a pinfall can only happen in the ring, so they best help to it. The Blue Bomber is looking to take flight. Good gravy! We have a multiple vehicle pileup on our hands. And I gotta say, that was a nice little kip up from the mean girl. And into the barricade goes the leopard woman. Uh-oh, this looks bad. These boots were made for kicking, and that's just what they'll do. Grace Mutibo kicks her off, and here comes Whitney Olivier. Once again, the Blue Bomber finds herself getting in some serious cardio in this match. Now it's Kimberly Sullivan's turn for a little jog, and we are slowly migrating back ringside. We are seeing a lot of verbal abuse from the Blue Bomber, but back she goes. And here comes Kimberly, and baby makes 3. Nobody home, and that body splash finds nothing but canvas. And where oh where are you going, Miss Olivier? Another game of Cluedo, and it's Whitney Olivier in the ring with the pool cue. Just look at the power behind that swing. Shoulder breaker. Going for another pin. And another pin gets thwarted. What do I keep telling you, wrestlers? Neutralize the other wrestler. 1, 2, 3 power bombs from Whitney Olivier. And another pin gets neutralized. Kimberly showboating for the crowd, and she gets the German suplex. The Blue Bomber is intent on neutralizing the mean girl. Just look at the height on that dropkick. That was impressive. 1991 just called, and it's hammer time all over again. Can she take the pin this time? 1. And another pin gets broken up. Kimberly's lifeless body is acting as a barrier, but not anymore. And we got a suplex from Whitney Olivier. The mean girl counters and kicks back, putting down Whitney Olivier. The Blue Bomber comes sliding back into the ring. Into the ropes goes Kimberly. We got an artful dodge. And I think we're going to see it soon, folks. Here it comes. Boom! The botched facelift, one of the mean girl's signature moves. And Grace Mutibo adding a little insult to injury there. And trying to steal the pin. Play it again, Ernie. Kimberly's gymnastics have kept her out of a lot of trouble in this match, but after this move, the Blue Bomber is not going to be taking any selfies. Whitney Olivier's body separates the two competitors. Kimberly jumps out of the ring, and she's daring the Blue Bomber to come and face her. And oh good brother, we got another forward somersault with a clothesline. The Leopard Woman did not stick the landing with that one, and the brawl continues. We are seeing a lot of blood all around, and a flying Superman punch from the Leopard Woman. I told you there'll be blood, and I like to think that we delivered. Into the ropes the mean girl goes. Oh, round and round and round into an arm drag. Now that was cool, and a roll up into a pin. And a breakup. It's truly amazing how much can happen in only a few seconds in a match like this. And into the corner goes Whitney Olivier. The ballet continues. Into the ropes goes the Leopard Woman. And she is powering out with a knee to the gut. Up and over the ropes the mean girl goes. And the Leopard Woman gets clocked by Whitney Olivier. And a stunner against the ropes. With all this action coming thick and fast, we really need to hire a second commentator. And into the corner the Blue Bomber goes. And oh my god, we're going to see an avalanche. Oh man, is this ever sweet. This has truly been a match with a little something for everyone. And this is going to be badass. Down she goes. And we got to see that one again. That was the best avalanche I've seen all year. And I have no choice but to give it a perfect 5 stars. That one is going to grace the highlight reels for years to come. If my dog ever gives me any grand puppies, I can tell them I was there when this went down. What we are seeing right here, this is exactly what this Linwood crowd came to see tonight. Our staff veterinarian is going to have her hands full dealing with all these injuries, but that's a problem for later. The Blue Bomber is stunned against the ropes, and Kimberly is going in for a stunner from the middle rope. And just look at that sweet backflip. Like I said, this match has a little bit of everything. The Leopard Woman and the Blue Bomber are going hammer and tongs outside the ring, and will you look at that? A rotating senton. Let's see that again. The mean girl is absolutely bringing her A-game tonight, and moves like that are surefire crowd pleasers. And look at that! Leopard Woman clocks the Blue Bomber with a body splash from the slingshot. And my god, just look at all this devastation. Who's gonna clean that up? You? I'm certainly not gonna be the one to do it. Kimberly coming back with another up and over into a sit-out spinebuster. If this crowd hasn't gotten their money's worth by now, we would not be giving refunds. The mean girl eats a steel chair to the head and one to the body. Oh, that was brutal. I'd normally say something like, hasn't she suffered enough? But then I remember, this is Kimberly Sullivan. Oh, that was a good one. I want my $38 back, Kimberly. We are down to 2 in the ring, and maybe this is the way it was always gonna end. Dropkick from Whitney Olivier. Things are looking bad for the Leopard Woman, and it's about to get a whole lot worse. 1, 2, 3 powerbombs from Whitney Olivier. Like a true hero, in comes Kimberly Sullivan at the end of the battle to bayonet the wounded. And out of the ring she goes, and Whitney Olivier follows suit. Good golly, Miss Molly! A dive through the corner ropes into a tornado DDT. We gotta see that again. And this, folks, this is why wrestling is much better these days. If Yo-Yo Brown tried to dive through the corner ropes like that, he'd probably just get stuck. That was a stunning display. The Leopard Woman stalks the ring alone. Meanwhile, the Blue Bomber is straight up tenderizing the mean girl's face. If that wasn't bad enough, the worst is yet to come, in the form of another Blue Thunderbomb. The Leopard Woman wants in on the action, and she is bringing the sledgehammer. Normally I'd ask what Kimberly Sullivan ever did to you, but there was probably something. She probably had that one coming. Good golly, Miss Molly, look at that tilt-a-whirl DDT. That was some serious acrobatic skill. How either of these two competitors are still standing after all that punishment is something I will never fathom. And what the hell does a person have to do to put the mean girl out of commission? Seriously, asking for a friend. Kimberly goes off on a merry little stroll to God knows where. And she is coming back with a baseball bat. The Blue Bomber gets thrown back in the ring. Meanwhile, these two are still juking it out on the cardboard. We got a soccer kick to the back and another chance to be obnoxious for Kimberly Sullivan. Oh, for God's sakes, Kimberly, nobody's impressed by that. There's maybe like 40 kilos of you to press, and that's just a warm-up. Off on her merry little way goes the mean girl, and the Blue Bomber is absolutely cleaning house once again. This one looks like it's finally going to go back in the ring where it belongs. These two modern-day gladiators juke it out in the ring while Kimberly takes a chance to be obnoxious outside the ring. Can she get the pin? Like all of Kimberly's relationships, that one was broken up by Kimberly. The mean girl going off the springboard, and we got the tilt-a-whirl head scissors. The mean girl firing shot after shot at the Leopard Woman. Into the fireman's carry, and we have got a Death Valley driver. This win for the mean girl is right there for the taking, but Kimberly wants to pile on the verbal abuse. It's never a Kimberly Sullivan match without lashings of verbal abuse. And back in the ring, the Blue Bomber goes. In comes the mean girl with the pull cue, and we got a counter from the Leopard Woman. And another counter from the mean girl. This is going back and forth. Up and over the ropes, the Blue Bomber goes. And look at that, we got another botched facelift. Can she get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Kimberly Sullivan takes the win. Let's go see some ringside highlights from this absolute behemoth of a match. And oh my god, did we ever go on a journey in this match. As I've said before, I am only one man, and I struggled at times to keep up with all the action that was coming left, right and centre. And while all the legitimate wrestling publications and websites might not want to touch our promotion, there is indeed a silver lining to that. And the silver lining in this case is that we get to mark our own homework. I am hereby giving this match a perfect 5 stars, and I double dog dare anybody at the Wrestling Observer to tell me why I'm wrong. This was truly a match that had everything in the kitchen sink. If all our matches could be this good, maybe we wouldn't have to rent out cadavers from the morgue to fill out the last 5 rows. I'm pretty sure some of those cadavers are the same ones we rented last week, and there's a couple of them that are starting to smell a little ripe. So if any of you folks in the audience find a loose body part, could you please return it at your earliest convenience to one of our friendly staff members? If we don't get them all back, we lose the deposit. And now I'm really hoping that none of the body parts were eaten by that fox terrier who was marauding the warehouse earlier. So congratulations to the mean girl, Kimberly Sullivan. And will you get a load of all that blood? With this victory, Kimberly earns the chance for a title shot next week against our women's champ, La Madrina. I, for one, will be counting down the minutes until that match. For one thing, La Madrina is going to snap Kimberly's tiny little body in half, and I wouldn't miss that for the world. I'm sorry to say it, folks, but that is all the time we have for this week. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you wonderful people for tuning in and watching. I can say in all honesty that this is one of the wackiest episodes I've ever done. There were many times when I was doing lines that I had to do take after take after take because I just couldn't stop bursting out laughing. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed putting this shindig together. Once again, this is your faithful host and color commentator, John Adams, signing out and signing off for another week. And as always, I encourage each and every one of you to go out and support your local independent wrestling promotions, because that's where the real passion is and that's where the real wrestling goes down. Until next time, folks.